Hello all you shining stars, welcome to my channel Shining Star Soup. In today's video, this is kind of a one-off video, but a video I really wanted to get out there, and it's called Beware Flair Air. And I did just freeze there. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story, and right now it is June 17th. I'll probably be uploading this video today so that you can see it on June 17th. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for communication. So we're going to start off with the story. So I decided to fly up to Vancouver Island, specifically Victoria. Using Flair Air, I left on Wednesday, June the 8th, and my flight was booked for Friday, June the 10th to come back home from Victoria. Now, Victoria is a very small airport, so it's there's like nothing around the Victoria airport, which is really a pain. But Edmonton Airport, thankfully, is really big. Lots of stuff to do. You spend a little bit longer in security when you're like through your main cities like Edmonton and Calgary and Vancouver. They have more of a nicer airports. Alright, so the reason why I had chose Flair Air was simply because of the price. When compared to, I looked at WestJet and I looked at Swoop, but Flair Air was the cheapest. Like, to go from Edmonton to Victoria just for the one day on WestJet was like $375. We're talking like outrageous, and that's just one price. Nowadays, when you fly, WestJet especially charges extra. They charge for, like, you can only take a carry-on, when before, you know, your flight included where you didn't have to pay for the carry-on, but now you have to pay extra for the carry-on. You have to pay extra for this and extra for that. So those costs really add up. And through Flair Air, I was able to find a return flight for a grand total of $230. I'm just rounding up, which was really good. The only thing is, with flying Flair Air, when you have those advertisements that say, our flights are 50% off, fly for one way for $30. Yeah, the base flight. You still have to pay extra for your seat. You have to pay extra for your carry-on if you want priority booking. That is extra, which I do recommend priority booking. Priority boarding, not priority booking. And your checked baggage. And plus, nothing is for free. You know how WestJet offers your snacks? They will offer you a free peanuts, free coffee, free tea. Not with Flair Air. Everything is extra. So keep that in mind, except for their flight app. Their flight app is free. Woohoo. But even with all the extras, I did add priority boarding. I did add carry-on bag. Even with that, return was $230, which was like I saved about $400 on this flight. But I tell you, when I tell you what ended up happening, I would have been better off probably going WestJet. So my flight in from Edmonton to Victoria, smooth sailing. The plane left on time. There were no delays. I had priority boarding, so smooth sailing. I was like, okay. Because I have read a lot of negative reviews about Flair Air. A lot to do with cancellations and delays. Like, I was checking the departures of Victoria, from Edmonton to Victoria, like every day. I was checking all the flights. It's like, can I expect a delay? So because the flight from Edmonton to Victoria went so smoothly, I wasn't too worried about it. Well, I would have been wrong. Okay. So on the Thursday, because I left on the Friday, I received a text that my flight was delayed. Now, my flight was originally supposed to leave Victoria at 11:40 p.m. I was supposed to get into Edmonton at 2:40. There is a time change. Edmonton is an hour ahead. Victoria is an hour behind. And I was like, great, I'm going to get home and I'm going to have the whole day to, do whatever I want. But that was not the case. About 12 hours later, like towards Thursday evening, I received a text that the flight had been changed from 11:40 to 3 p.m. So already that is, pardon my math, 12, 1, 2, 3, a 4-hour delay. 4 hours. And then I was like, okay, I'm not happy about this, because instead of getting home at 2 in the afternoon, I wasn't going to get home till 5, 6 in the evening. All right. It sucked, but still, whatever. It is what it is. I wasn't too upset about it. I knew I would have to pay, because I did park at the Edmonton airport. I'd probably have to pay a little bit extra for air flight parking, but at least, you know, at least evening, fine, whatever. I'll still get home in time to make supper. Couple hours later, next day, flight was further delayed to 5:40 p.m. It's over about a 7-hour delay. And I was like, okay, I had two choices. I had a ride. You know, I didn't bother renting a car. I really wish I would have. But even then, I probably still would have left. I was reading online some reviews that there was a very, very slim chance that the delay would end up not being the delay. And for me, what would have been worse would be, you know, still be in Duncan and then having them change it. Because when you're relying on somebody else for a ride, you really have to work around their schedule, right? So I was like, okay, well, on the very, very slim chance that it gets undelayed, I should get to Victoria at the right time. So I ended up in Victoria from 10 in the morning. There was no changes, all right? They didn't, when you, I'm going to link a website down below, all right? This is a website that goes through all the rules. So pretty much, if your flight is delayed, you are entitled to compensation. And it works that if it's between 3 and 6 hours, because Flair Air is considered a small airline, all right, you are entitled to $125 compensation. And so I had asked, when I got to the Victoria airport, I went straight to the clerk because I had the 7-hour delay notice before I actually got to the airport. The only reason why I was at the airport again was on the off chance that somehow some miracle happened and we were able to get on the earlier flight. Spoiler alert, it didn't happen. I went to the counter and I was like, what happened? Why am I delayed 7 hours? And the lady behind the counter at the Victoria counter said that it was because they sent you one email. And one email, it didn't describe what happened. It just said controlled. All right. So if the delay is between 3 and 6 hours for a controlled reason, which means that basically, you know, it wasn't a safety concern. It was in the airline's control. She told me it was for crew rest on the previous flight. And I'm like, okay. Well, and I asked her, what about compensation? I read through the passenger rights, I'm entitled to compensation. $125 if it's between 3 and 6 hours because it's a smaller airline. 7 hours, between 6 and 9 hours, you're entitled to $250. And she said, well, you have to email. You have to call customer service, right? So I called customer service and they told me I had to email. So I emailed flightdelay at flightdelay.com. I ended up getting a standard, we got your message. And I sent this on June the 10th. All right, it's now June 17th. I reached out to their chat room, got the same thing. We can't do anything, you have to email Flight Delay, or you can email support at flyflair.com. So I emailed both, but support Fly Air just bounced right back. Okay, yeah. And then I reached out to their online chat for a third time, and they gave me another one. And they said, hey, you can try refunds at flyair.com. And I was like, well, if they can give me, I am entitled to $250 compensation for being a 7-hour flight delay. All right, so I emailed refunds. I have heard nothing. not a peep. Not a peep from the flight delay of Flair, not a peep from the support at flyflair.com, and not a peep from the refunds at flyair.com. So they have 30 days. You can, if they don't get back to you, or if you don't like, if they give you a letter saying why they're not going to compensate you, if you don't receive any communication, or they aren't going to compensate you because they are legally supposed to, even though they're a small airline, they owe me $250. And this is for your reference. If you are unfortunate enough to fly Flair Air because it's so cheap, they have 30 days. So they have 30 days to get back to me. Again, I'm on 7 days. Not a peep from any of the emails. On June or July the 8th, which will be a full month, or July 10th, I guess, would be a full 10 days. Then you can reach out, and I plan on reaching out. And I have a feeling I'm going to have to reach out to the Canadian Transport Agency. But I will keep you updated. I'll have a second part to this video. Either the video won't be until 30 days, and I'll let you guys know if I had to go as far as that email, which I'm legally required to. The airline has 30 days. But my biggest advice to you is know your passenger rights. Know that if it's a 3 to 6 delay, if it's a smaller airline, they owe you $125, bare minimum. If it's a bigger one, I didn't look at the bigger ones, but the bigger one like WestJet in Canada, or WestJet and Air Canada, it's going to be different. If it's between a 6-hour and 9-hour, you get $500, and if it's over 9 hours, I think it's like $500. $250 between 6 and 9. Between 9 over, it's $500. If your flight's canceled completely, you are entitled to even more compensation. Now, they did offer at the airport. Now, keep in mind, the reason why spending 8 hours at the airport in Victoria was not fun is because they got nothing. They don't have a whole lot of shops. It was really boring. Boring to the point that I ended up having a little anxiety attack about 5 hours in. But that's a whole other story that I don't feel like sharing. But there's not hotels. Like, if it was Edmonton, you know, I could have just got a room and just kind of chilled and watched TV and then waited for an alert. But unfortunately, Victoria doesn't have a hotel. Their hotel is kind of like you'd have to leave security and then go to take a cab and go downtown. It's about a, I don't know, 9-minute bus ride or something like that. Either way, it's kind of secluded, and because it's a smaller airport, there's a lot less to do, and that was quite unfortunate. And I had something in my mind that I wanted to add as well, besides, you know, Victoria being the small airport. And then I would update you. I will update you, but I guess to wrap up this video, unless this comes, beware of flying Flair. If it sounds too good to be true, like really cheap, it probably is. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright guys, thanks for watching my short little video. Have a shining star day, and beware, fly Flair. Beware, don't fly Flair. Bye guys.